welcome to the mini-series where I'll be catching up with all of the 2024 Brummies, and I'm now delighted to be joined by the third signing for 2024, Steve Worrall. Steve, welcome to Birmingham.
Thank you. It's nice to be a part of it.
So it was a very good season for you last year. I think you've come out and said publicly that since you left Bellevue, you've had really good Premiership seasons back to back. What is it like to now be moving on, kind of forced to move on with what's happened with Wolverhampton?
Yeah, like I've said it many times. I'm a creature of habit, really, and I like to when I get somewhere stay there, and you know, I guess build up relationships and fan base, and I like that side of it. I'm not one of the riders who like swapping around, and like you say, forced to move on now, which it's sad, but I guess as one door closes, another opens. In obviously for myself, and it's still close to Wolverhampton. So that the people that I've become friends with, and the fans that have become friends with it. Hopefully, they'll need speed. They want to watch Speedway. Hopefully, and hopefully they can come over to Birmingham now and still support me as a rider and the Birmingham team. So that's something that I was really happy with. Obviously the way the league was set out, I think it made it difficult for people on my average to find jobs anyway. So, I was really fortunate that, Birmingham and Oxford was willing in the end to come up. And it's, opened a door for me, which if I could pick out of all the teams that are in the league, if I could pick a track that I enjoyed riding the most, it would be Birmingham out of the lot. And I know it sounds a bit, you can say that, but it kind of suits my style, and it's very similar to Poole in a way, which I found my feet there really well, and I loved my time there and riding their track. So I think it was a very good move for me, and a very good move for Birmingham. They've not had life easy. Like since they've been racing these last few years, it's always tough to put a solid team together because they've come late to the party. And similar thing this year, they're late to the Premiership, so it's not like you can retain riders who you've had previously. No, you're kind of starting from scratch again, which for us, the riders that I'm aware of so far that have signed on, though, it looks like we're going to have a fantastic team, and there's a lot of passion behind the club, and there's a lot of drive. So, I think it's they deserve a lot of success.
And you say you like to build up relationships with supporters. You very much based your career around the Midlands as well. You started off in your earlier days with Cradley, and now you've raced for Wolverhampton, and now at Birmingham, you're kind of completing the set, so to speak.
Yeah, try and cut down the travelling, really. It's ideal for where I am. It's a couple of hours to get there, and it definitely makes life easier when you're racing. The less you can travel, the better. And obviously that's a key thing for me. I mean, there's a couple of tracks probably closer, but it's all what fits and what suits. And like I've been at it long enough now to know what I want, what I need, and what's going to make me go best. And I think that there's some positive signs from Birmingham that it's all going to play out and work well for me.
Last season, we saw riders like Emil come back, and we've seen a couple of new ones come back for this year already with sort of Artem Laguta coming back as well, and Matt Sayinovsky. What is it like as a rider for you to line up against those names that are, you've watched on the TV? I know you're all there to beat everybody, but what is it like for you, especially as a higher up the card kind of rider?
You get a chance to beat them or to race with them, and I guess if you're in the team with them, be in the pits with them and learn from them. It's just like the guys in the reserve positions now in the Premiership teams. They learn and feed off people like myself or the other English guys who are really open to help and can point them in the right direction. And I guess that situation is similar for me. We look up to them guys, so that's the next level again. And if we're in the team with them, we can learn from them. If we're in the race against them, we can use that to push us that extra little bit to go that extra bit to try and beat them. And from the fans' point of view, it's good for them. Like there was times this year where obviously when you're traveling so much, you don't want to cut as much traveling out as you can, but there'd be a certain rider at a certain track, and if it's close by, and I think I'll go on then, I'll go and watch it, and And I enjoy that myself. So I get it from a fan's point of view. You know, when that certain riders come into the track locally, you want to go and watch them, and that's only going to benefit the sport. You know that you don't get a chance to watch these guys, and you see them on TV, and you never get to watch them live. And now all of a sudden they're coming to our tracks in the UK, which it's brilliant for the sport. It's brilliant for the riders. So yeah, it's only going to do it good. But we need more clubs, we need more teams, and they need more backing.
Is it brave for Oxford to kind of enter all three leagues, do you think, touching on that side of things? Is that a brave move, or does that show their ambition as well?
It shows their ambition, but they have a very strong fan base. You know, like you go every meeting, and I think they're almost sold out every meeting. Which, I mean, I don't know about the National League matches. Who knows? You know, the thing what worries me is the track being available for all the meetings and being able to put them all on. You know, like all it takes is a few wet days, and kind of it snowballs things, and you get to the end of the year, and they're running 3 days a week, 4 days a week, just to try and catch up. And I don't know if that's good for business, but the fans are there, the promotion's willing to do it, so let's get behind them and back them, because if they didn't come up into the Premiership, we were one team short, and it just seems to be everything's getting a little bit watered down. So no, it's brilliant for the sport. If you could race for them in both leagues, how good would that be? You'd be a very solid home rider. But they've already announced their team. They put together, and they've worked very fast behind the scenes to put it all together. So they've got a very strong Premiership team that's going to be able to compete as well. So it's not like they've been late to the party and left behind. It's all well thought out. They've got good riders who's going to hopefully attract the fans to keep coming, and we'll see. Time will tell, but it's brilliant for the sport that they've opted to do it.
And there's a solid foundation being built at Birmingham so far, with obviously Tom and Leon and yourself now. And those are two riders that you've kind of worked with as well, doing GB training days and stuff like that. So two riders you know very well.
Yeah, well, like Leon, I've been with him the last 2 years at Wolverhampton. So yeah, we get on really well. Tom, I was with him at Bellevue. As far as I'm aware, the rest of the guys who I'm aware of so far, they're we get on really well. And there's what I've learned over my time of riding. It's not individuals who win leagues and win meetings. It's a team, and that's you got to try and focus on that and build a team. That all the riders have got to enjoy being there. Get on and work really well together. When you've got just one guy who goes out and wins every race, and the rest of them are getting thirds, or lasts, it doesn't get you wins. And that's Poole is a prime example of that. They put together a team every year, and the last 3 years they've kept a very similar team, which we all had a very unique bond where you're just a bunch of mates and you ride like that, and it makes winning a lot easier.
You touch on. I'm sorry, carry on.
Yeah, like that. So obviously the team part of it is really, really important, and the foundations are being laid there now at Birmingham for us, which we're aiming in that direction, and hopefully it stands us in good stead.
You touch on Poole there, and you've notoriously been a creature of habit. You've also decided to move on in the Championship. I know it's not been announced where you're going yet, but do you think it was the right time for you to move on? And was it important for you to tell the fans yourself that you were moving on?
Well, we're always in a position as riders where you get the last meeting out of the way. Everyone goes their separate ways type thing, and then it gets announced on social media or online, wherever, that our such a body's not riding for the team anymore, and new guys in, or it just gets announced that you're at a different club. You never personally get to say thank you and thank you for the sport, and basically like goodbye. I just found myself in a unique position where behind the scenes, obviously things are always happening 3/4 of the way through the year. People are planning ahead, and you've got to, because if you strike too late, you miss the opportunity. And the direction that the club was going in, because we was aware that the averages was going to drop, that it wouldn't really work for me to fit in the team anymore. One, I'm not an asset, so you're always going to look after your assets. So I just, between us, that was the direction they was going to go, and we made that decision. I'd managed to sort out another club, and it was nice to, like, the unique opportunity come where I was able to, make a decision early and, thankfully say goodbye to all the fans properly, because 3 years of your career given to a club is a long time, and I don't live around the corner from there. Every time I drive there, it's 5.5, 6 hours there, and then 5.5, 6 hours back. So I give a lot to the club and a lot to the fans, and in return they give a lot to me, and we was able to win a lot, which was great. But it just felt really nice to be able to say thank you to them guys who was there, and the club and everyone involved with it.
What have your interactions been like with Lawrence and Nigel so far regarding moving to Birmingham? Because they've shown tenacity to, again, manage to keep the club on track for next year and taking the jump to bring them up. What have the interactions been like so far with the management at Birmingham?
Well, I'm already, really, quite pally with Lawrence anyway. I haven't had much to do with Nigel. Obviously, you see him passing all the time and whatever. But, up to now, it's been brilliant. There's real good communication. Keep me up to date with what's going on, the rest of the riders, and we were trying to plan for me to, come to the Christmas event, but it didn't quite work out. There's a surprise trip going on, which has put the brakes on that. But so no, it's been really good so far. It's really positive. It's just I guess it's no different to most other clubs. Everyone kind of does things the same, and you got to build up that relationship early as well. So it's nice to keep in contact and keep talking. And, eventually once all 7 riders are in, you get the WhatsApp group chat going, and, get people talking and familiarize everyone. And so we'll get the ball rolling, sorry, with that hopefully soon. I guess we've got to get the team announced first, and then we can do it.
Last year was quite a big season for you. Obviously, British number 2, got with the wild card at Cardiff. I know Cardiff didn't quite go to plan how you would have liked, but what can you take from that, the experience and learning from competing with the best 15 riders in the world?
I think the whole until you're physically there and doing it, it's something you can't really prepare for. So in terms of machinery wise, everything else, you fully. I couldn't have been any better prepared. I had some good help in the pits, which people who have been there and experienced it and done it all. I had all my usual stuff. Nothing was changed. It's just the occasion. Like I said, you can't prepare for it, and until you've done it a few times, I guess you're never going to be able to turn up there and just switch off and just go. It's the lead up to it. Going to the fan zone and doing all that sort of stuff, and really hard to explain it, but kind of you go to bed feeling okay, and you wake up on the day and everything feels heavy, and you can't get any food down you, which that was an issue. So it's just it's a really unique thing, that you're racing against the best guys in the world at one of the biggest stadiums that has a speedway track in, on the calendar, and in front of probably one of the biggest attendances on the calendar, and you're out there riding your bike. It's just it's a very, if I could, obviously now I've done it and experienced it all and done it, if I could kind of turn back the clock, now I've done it all, I think I would be a lot different. I'd ride a lot more relaxed, and I'd approach the day a lot different. You look at these guys now who are in it, and they've done over this. I don't know, Freddie Lingard, he's done over 100 Grand Prix. It's just like him turning up to Wolverhampton on a Monday night.
Yeah.
Now, it's no different. The day, he's experienced that day so many times that when he gets there, he's so relaxed, and it just just goes with the flow. But when you're new to it and you're walking in, and yeah, the occasion gets to you. But lining up with them guys, who first time you sit next to them and you look across and you've got Zmarzlik on one side and lingering on the other, maybe it's daunting. But as it went on and on and on, it didn't. That feeling slowly went away, and kind of you respect them guys so much that you sat there next to them. But then slowly, that not that you disrespect them, but you lose that kind of respect for them, which makes things racing against them a lot easier. So if I can take anything away, it's the self confidence and the self belief, and um, if I get another crack at it, I think I'll treat the whole day a lot differently for sure.
And you had new Kevlars, new bike covers, some fan wear as well for people to buy. Was it important for you to keep mementos of that day, or was it just to sort of capitalise and savour every moment of it by having the new Kevlars that you can look back and think, yeah, I did that?
Yeah, well, that's why I did it, because they'll hang up now in the workshop, and that's memories for me for life. Yeah, that's why I did it, because there's not many people who get the opportunity to go there and do it. There's only a handful of people. I know there's a wild card every year, but it tends to be the same people. Um, Not everyone who's a speedway rider gets that opportunity, and I might never ever get it again. Obviously, I aim to. Now I've had a taste of it, I want another go. So like obviously the aim is to get there again, but if I don't, I've got memories, I've got mementos to take from the day and to look back on in future.
And just finally, what can the Brummies fans and supporters expect from Steve Worrall next year? Like, how's the preparations going and everything like that at the moment?
Um, just just me, like I tend to just plug away and be consistent, and I very rarely, drop down too low in the points. I'm always there or thereabouts. I think this year for Wolverhampton was, very good for me. I had a real good partnership with Sam Masters, which we scored a hatful of points, but kind of we lost that partnership towards the end, and a lot of that's when I go back to working as a team. When we was working as a team and riding so well together, the points was easy, and then when either I'm struggling a bit one night or he's struggling a bit one night, that partnership breaks, and then it makes it harder, and then the opponents get the advantage then. And I think towards the end of the year we just kind of lost each other a little bit, and kind of like, I don't know, like took our foot off the gas. And whether it was the whole thing with Wolverhampton, like that, I don't know, the uncertainty around it all, and that kind of puts a little bit of an edge on. I don't know. It would have been a fairy tale to finish a year as league champions and kind of see Wolves out, but it was never meant to be.
And by the time this is released, it will have been announced about Sam Ermolenko being manager and Chris Adams being assistant manager. What will it be like to ride under the tutelage of Sam Ermolenko and sort of watch Chris learn as well, like you've raced for under Pete Adams?
Yeah, so I've been at Wolverhampton. Obviously, I see them guys every week, so we already have a very good relationship, which I'm really happy about that. And you need people in your team, especially like a manager who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. They need to be in a speedway rider's mind frame, I believe. You've got to know how to understand what's going on with a rider. If you're not getting the best out of them, how to flip it round and get it. Point them in the right. I know, like it's difficult when you've, his era, Sam's era of speedway was different to modern day speedway. So like coming up telling me how to set my bike up is not going to work. But you can give advice. That's what Gary Havelock's very good at with the pool thing. He never comes over and tells you how to set your bike up, but he can advise you. Because he can hear how your engine's sounding, or watch how it's reacting on track and kind of point you in the right direction. And Sam can be very good at that. And Chris, he had his dabble at being a team manager this year. He's got, he comes from good pedigree with his dad Pete. So I think it'll be brilliant having them two guys on board. It'll be absolutely fantastic.
Well, Steve, thank you very much for joining me. Very much looking forward to seeing you at Pay Bar next year. Hopefully you have a fantastic Christmas, and we'll see you in March.
Yeah, thank you.